Poor girl fixes CEO's Rolls-Royce in the showroom, then he learns she owns the company. The marble floors gleamed under the overhead lights of the luxury car showroom, a place where polished chrome and billionaire dreams shimmered in silence. People didn't walk here, they glided, dressed in tailored suits, heels that clicked with purpose, and sunglasses worn indoors like crowns. And then there was Lila, wearing dusty jeans, a grease-stained hoodie, and second-hand sneakers, her thick curls hastily tied back with a shoelace. She shouldn't have been here, not in the eyes of the man who had just walked in behind her. "Excuse me," barked a voice, sharp and cold. "Service entrance is in the back." Lila turned, face flushed from bending under the gleaming hood of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, a model so rare it came with its own private delivery ceremony. She met the eyes of the man who had spoken, powerful, graying temples, commanding presence. His name tag read, Michael Grayson, CEO. "I wasn't trying to intrude," she said calmly, wiping her hands on a rag. "Your Phantom has a problem with the ignition sensor. I heard your team talking about it and thought I could help." Michael's brow furrowed. "You just thought you'd touch a $500,000 vehicle without asking." She straightened her posture. "I'm a mechanic. I fix things. And your experts were about to tow it out." Michael rolled his eyes. "You're a kid with dirty hands and a toolbox. Get out before I call security." Just then, the engine roared to life. Smooth. Powerful. The kind of sound that made men like Michael smile with pride. "Sir," one of the showroom attendants shouted. "It's running." "The girl, she fixed it." Michael stared in disbelief. He walked over, checked the diagnostic screen, and blinked. No errors. Perfect readings. The vehicle was flawless. Lila was already collecting her tools, about to slip away unnoticed. But something about her composed calmness unsettled Michael. Not defiance, dignity. "Wait," he called, voice softer now. "Who are you?" She looked up. "Lila. Lila Rivers." He studied her. "Where did you learn to do that?" "My father owned a garage," she said. "I used to help him after school. He passed away last year. Been trying to keep the business going, but customers prefer big chains now." There was no self-pity in her voice. Just truth. Michael nodded slowly. "You know, that car isn't even available to the public yet. You've got an eye for detail." "Just habits," she shrugged. "Machines talk if you listen." Michael smiled despite himself. "Ever considered working for a company like mine?" She tilted her head. "Which company is that?" "Grayson Automotive," he replied proudly. "We fund the R&D for this showroom's entire luxury line." Lila's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Funny. That's the company I own." The silence was a vacuum. The room stilled. Even the sales team froze mid-breath. "You, what?" Michael asked, the air knocked from his lungs. She reached into her backpack, pulling out a slightly crumpled envelope. Inside was a contract, official, notarized, and bearing the signature of the board, Lila Rivers, sole proprietor, Quantum Auto Innovations. Quantum. Michael's eyes widened. Quantum was a tech startup that had developed proprietary software used in every luxury vehicle's onboard system. It had acquired majority shares in several car companies in the past year, including Grayson Automotive. "You bought us?" he whispered. She nodded. 6 months ago. Quiet acquisition. I wanted to learn how the business really runs before I made changes. Michael looked around as if the walls were crumbling. "But, why fix the car yourself? Why not send a team?" Lila's voice softened. "Because I believe in getting my hands dirty. My father taught me that leadership isn't standing above people, it's working beside them. I saw something broken, and I fixed it. That's what I do." There was a pause, thick with stunned reverence. Then, in a rare moment of humility, Michael took a breath and said, "I misjudged you." Lila gave a small smile. Most people do. In the days that followed, word spread like wildfire. Not just about the billionaire CEO being outsmarted in his own showroom, but about the young woman who had worked her way up from a garage floor to owning one of the most influential auto tech firms in the country. Her story went viral, not because of power or money, but because of her humility. She didn't fire Michael. In fact, she promoted him to a new role focused on mentoring young engineers from underprivileged backgrounds. His initial discomfort faded the moment he watched a 19-year-old intern explain electric motor dynamics to a boardroom full of executives. Under Lila's leadership, the company began sponsoring community mechanic programs, opening scholarship pathways for students like her, students who didn't have fancy degrees but had passion, curiosity, and grit. One chilly afternoon, months later, Michael walked into Lila's modest office. No chandeliers, no gold trim, just blueprints and photos of her father on the walls. "You know," he said, handing her a mug of coffee, "you could have taken over in a suit and boardroom speech." "Why the hard way?" She looked at him and replied simply, "Because people listen more when you show them who you are, not just your title." He nodded. "Your father would have been proud." Tears shimmered in her eyes. "He is. Every time something broken comes back to life, I feel him." As the sun dipped below the city skyline, casting long golden shadows across the showroom glass, something powerful settled into place. Not a deal, not a title, not a headline, but a quiet knowing, greatness isn't measured by what you own, but by what you give. And in a world obsessed with status, one girl reminded everyone that true power is found in compassion, humility, and the willingness to fix what others throw away.